I used to think marriages ended with shouting matches or doors slamming, but sometimes, they break in silence with nothing but a dinner plate between two people pretending to be okay. Daniel sat across from me, swirling his fork around a salad he didn't want. He hadn't looked up in over 5 minutes. I'd been counting long day. I asked, trying to sound casual. He nodded, still not meeting my eyes. Just mentally exhausting. That had become his new answer to everything. Exhausting, work, life, me. We'd been married for 8 years. At first, it was all laughter, road trips, late-night movie marathons. Now we shared more silence than secrets. And lately, something had shifted, not just the usual distance couples grow into, but something specific. Measured, intentional. I noticed it 2 months ago. He started sleeping with his phone under his pillow. He'd never done that before. Text notifications were silenced, locked, relocked, always face down. I tried to be mature, tried not to spiral. But doubt is quiet and it crawls in slowly. It settles into your thoughts like dust in a room no one visits anymore. Tonight though, something was different. Daniel looked purposeful. He wiped his mouth, set down his fork, and finally met my eyes. Emily, he said, tone steady. Can I ask you something? And I need you to be open-minded. My breath caught. Just, for a second, I forced a smile. Okay. He paused. What would you think? About us exploring something new. Something like an open marriage. The words hung in the air like smoke. I blinked, thinking I'd misheard him. I'm not saying I've done anything, he added quickly. I haven't, but I've been reading, thinking. People say, it can help, reignite things. Maybe it's what we need. He spoke like he was offering me a gym membership, like this was a self-help seminar, not our marriage. An open marriage. I repeated, flatly. He nodded, eyes hopeful, for permission or for escape. I wasn't sure. I didn't answer right away. I stared at my wine glass, feeling my hands tremble slightly. My mind split into one half screaming betrayal, the other trying to act composed. I could already feel my dignity trying to escape the room. You think this would help us? I asked slowly. I think it could. We've been, disconnected. Maybe this is a way to reconnect. On our own terms. I smiled tightly, but it didn't reach my eyes. Have you been talking to someone? His face flinched, barely, but enough. No, he said. No, I told you, I've just been thinking. Thinking. That word again. That rehearsed tone. That sudden, clean confidence in something so radical. My heart didn't believe him, but my lips said, I'll think about it. That night, I lay awake while he slept beside me like nothing had happened. I stared at the ceiling, wondering when exactly I'd lost him. Or maybe I never truly had him to begin with. I thought about all the dinners I made when he worked late. The weekends I filled with plans to keep us together. The nights I waited, hoping he'd touch me the way he used to. And now he wanted permission to touch someone else. I couldn't cry. My body wouldn't allow it. Shock is colder than sadness. It locks your heart in a freezer and tells your soul to wait. Beside me. Daniel shifted in his sleep. I turned to face him. His mouth was slightly open, peaceful, like he'd unburdened himself and now rested easy. I hated how calm he looked. 1,000 questions flooded my mind, but none of them changed the facts. He wanted an open door in our marriage, and I had no idea whether he was already halfway through it. But one thing I knew, something inside me had changed. He didn't know it yet, but his request had cracked something deep and permanent, and cracks don't close on their own. They spread quietly, completely. I closed my eyes and whispered into the silence. Greater than when did the man I love become a stranger, asking permission to break me? And with that, the night began its long, cruel silence. The days that followed were filled with politeness so sharp it could cut skin. Daniel started acting lighter, like asking for permission to shatter our vows had somehow unburdened him. He texted me during lunch, brought home my favorite coffee, offered spontaneous back rubs in the evening. At first, I thought he was trying to fix things. But it didn't feel like affection. It felt like management. Maintenance. I watched him closely every glance at his phone. Every pause before answering questions. When I laughed at something, he studied me like he didn't recognize the sound. It wasn't love. It was calculation. Asterisk, I needed someone to talk to. Someone who could hear the absurdity of what he'd said and confirm I wasn't crazy. Asterisk, so I called Ava. Asterisk, she'd been my best friend for 10 years, since college. Gorgeous in an effortless way, soft curls, knowing eyes, a voice that made even grocery lists sound seductive. She'd always been close to both of us. Double dates, weekends away, wine nights when Daniel worked late. I trusted her. Asterisk, we met at our usual spot. A little cafe with yellow awnings and waiters who remembered your name. Asterisk, I didn't even sit down before blurting it out. He wants an open marriage. Asterisk, her eyebrows rose, but there was no shock in her eyes. Wow, she said, stirring her iced tea. That's bold. Asterisk, bold. I repeated, asterisk, well, I mean, ... couples do it. It's not unheard of. If both people agree, it can be. Asterisk, I stared at her. That wasn't the reaction I expected. I thought she'd gasp, curse him out, call him selfish. Instead, she looked curious. Asterisk, you don't think that's insane? I asked. Asterisk, she shrugged, taking a sip. Depends on the couple. Maybe he's just feeling trapped. Men panic sometimes. Or maybe ... he wants something new but still wants to keep you. Asterisk, the words settled wrong. Like oil in water. I leaned back, studying her carefully for the first time in years. She was too calm, too understanding. Her defense of him was too smooth. And suddenly, a small, ugly thought bloomed. Had they already discussed this? ... together? I said nothing. That night, I noticed Daniel texting more, smiling at his screen. When I entered the room, he flipped the phone upside down. Again, asterisk, I told myself not to jump to conclusions, but instinct screamed louder than logic. Asterisk, I didn't need a confrontation, I needed clarity. So I made a decision. The next morning, after he left for work, I slipped a tiny voice recorder behind a photo frame in our living room. It was activated. I told myself it was just in case. Just to confirm I was wrong, that nothing was going on. Asterisk, that afternoon, I went to the grocery store. I took my time, left my phone off, gave them space. Asterisk, when I came back, everything looked normal. Except one small detail. The throw pillow on the couch was slightly off-center. Daniel never noticed those things. Asterisk, he got home late. Said traffic was bad? I nodded. Cooked dinner. Played nice. Asterisk, later that night, when he was in the shower, I retrieved the recorder. I locked myself in the bedroom and pressed play. At first, just silence, then footsteps. The front door opened. Laughter. Hers. Ava. Daniel. She said, you've got to stop looking so guilty. You got what you wanted. Asterisk, I didn't think she'd take it so calmly. He replied. It's like she's playing along. A pause. I still think we should have waited, Ava said. She's smart. Asterisk, too late now. He muttered. We're already in it. My hand shook. This wasn't a theory anymore. It was real. Tangible. Spoken. I hit pause and sat in the dark. The betrayal wasn't just the act, it was the coordination, the teamwork behind my back. The manipulation, dressed as honesty, asterisk, and worse, it was Ava. My friend, my confidant. Asterisk, they didn't just betray me. They underestimated me. Asterisk, but I wouldn't scream, wouldn't cry. Not yet, asterisk, no, I was going to be just as calm, just as measured. I would play this game. And I'd play it better. Asterisk, because now, I wasn't wondering if I was being betrayed. I was preparing for what came next. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, Daniel always said I was too forgiving. I never saw it as a flaw until now. Asterisk, after hearing their voices on that recorder, I didn't sleep. Not because I was heartbroken. That part had already begun dying the moment he asked to open our marriage. No, I stayed awake planning. Asterisk, grief made me slow. But betrayal made me sharp. Asterisk, by morning, I had a decision. I wasn't going to confront them in rage. That would give them the drama they'd expect, the tears, the accusations, the heartbreak they'd prepared for. Asterisk, instead, I would give them what they truly feared, indifference. That evening, as Daniel scrolled through his phone on the couch, probably texting hi, walked in wearing red lipstick and a smile. Asterisk, he blinked. You're dressed up. Asterisk, I nodded. I've made a decision. Asterisk, he sat straighter. About what? Asterisk, our marriage. I said calmly. You're right, we need something new. So let's try this ... Openness. Asterisk, his face flickered. Surprise, uncertainty, guilt. It was hard to tell. Asterisk, you're serious? He asked. Asterisk, I nodded. Completely. Asterisk, there was a pause. Then a slow smile spread across his face, like he'd won something. I smiled too, but not for the same reason. Asterisk, the next morning, I sent a message to Mark, Daniel's quiet, thoughtful colleague I'd met at a work dinner last year. We'd barely spoken, but I remembered the way he'd looked at me. Respectful. Warm. The opposite of what I now lived with. Asterisk, I asked him to meet me for coffee. No pressure, just conversation. He said yes. Asterisk, we talked for an hour. He didn't ask questions I wasn't ready to answer. He just listened. And for the first time in months, I felt seen. Asterisk, when I returned home, Daniel was waiting with a smug energy, like he'd given me a leash and now wanted to see how far I'd run. Asterisk, I didn't tell him about Mark. Not yet. Let him think I was just adjusting. Asterisk, over the next week, I redefined everything. I laughed more. I wore perfume again. I left my phone unlocked, visible, untouched. Asterisk, Daniel started watching me. Really watching. Asterisk, one night, I told him Mark would be coming over for dinner. He froze. Wait, here? Asterisk, yes, I said casually. Since we're being open, I thought you'd want to meet him. Transparency, right? Asterisk, he opened his mouth, then shut it. He nodded. Asterisk, when Mark arrived, I could almost taste the tension in the room. Daniel tried to act relaxed, but his grip on the wine glass betrayed him. Asterisk, Mark was perfect, polite, engaging, calm. The conversation flowed, and every time I laughed or leaned in, I saw Daniel's jaw tighten. It was intoxicating. After dinner, Mark thanked me for the evening, kissed my hand gently, and left. As soon as the door closed, Daniel snapped. What was that? Asterisk, I blinked. What do you mean? Asterisk, that, he said, standing now. That was a performance. Asterisk, I stood too. You mean like the one you and Ava have been giving me? His face went pale. I heard everything. I continued. The recorder, Daniel, your voices, her laugh, your plan. Asterisk, he didn't speak. He didn't need to. Asterisk, I played along, I said, stepping closer. Because I wanted you to feel what I felt. To sit across from someone you no longer trusted and wonder what else they've already done. Still, no words. You wanted freedom, I whispered. Now you have it, but not the way you imagined. Asterisk, I walked past him, grabbed the envelope from the drawer, and handed it to him. He looked down. Divorce papers. He didn't even reach for them. I turned back. You broke something, Daniel. And I don't fix what doesn't want to be whole. I left the room, heart steady. He didn't follow. Asterisk, that night, I lay in bed alone. But this time, I felt peace, not the kind built on denial, but the kind that comes from choosing yourself. His unexpected request had changed our marriage forever. But more than that, Tit had changed me. And for the first time in years, I was finally free. Asterisk.